Hello guys, we want to solve this question looking at domain and range of irrational function. But this one, we are going to look at some technical part of this question which I want you to watch out for. Now, the question says that x squared all over divided by x squared plus 8 equals to f of x. It says find the domain of the function. Now, to look for the domain of this rational function, just equate the denominator not to be equal to 0. But funny enough, if you look at this particular question, not equal to 0, that means we want to make sure that this denominator must not be equal to 0. Now, if you check the variable here, this is a quadratic function. It means that this s cannot be equal to 0. Any value you put for here, for this particular x, can never be equal to 0. Can never be equal to 0. So that means that from what I'm saying now, it means that any value occupying the position of x in this equation, we make the validity of what we make the denominator not to be equal to 0. Now what I'm saying now is that x is an element of what, or real number in this case, meaning that what, to find the domain, it is set of values of x I'm looking for, and that values of x I'm looking for now in this function must ensure that the denominator must not be equal to 0. And if I place any values of x inside this word, any real number inside this word function, it will still be not equal to 0. So therefore the domain is equal to what? From minus infinity to plus infinity. That means all real number. So we can also write it like domain is what? X is such that x is an element of what? Real number. Now, having done that, now this next thing is to find the range. So the range, in looking for the range, f of x is equal to y. Therefore, y equal to what? X squared over x squared plus 8. We cross multiply. So what I want to have now is what? X squared y then plus 8y equal to x squared. So what will, if we make x the subject of formula, x squared or collide like terms minus x squared, this will come here, minus 8. So what do we have now? I want to have it as what? Let me say x squared is common, 1 y minus 1 equal to minus 8y. So we take it up. So I want to have it as what? X squared is equal to minus 8y over, divide both sides by y minus 1. Y minus 1. So therefore, x is equal to square root of what? Minus 8y over y minus 1, which can be written as also. Don't forget that we can write this thing as what? Square root of 8y or divide. Because if I bring this minus down, the minus times y is minus y. Minus times minus is plus 1. So 1 minus y. Same thing. So either write it like this or like this is correct. Now, using Sanchez method, this one now, it must be greater than 0. That means x squared should what? Be the values we are going to have for this function should be greater or equal to 0. So in that case now, what we want to do now is, let's say 8y equal to 0 using Sanchez method, 1 minus 0. As anytime you see a function like this, when we write something like this, just use Sanchez method. So we are going to have y equal to 0 and y equal to what? 1. Now let's draw the diagram, the line. Let's draw this line what? To represent what? To analyze our validity. Now, for this value, look at the condition here. It means that any value I'm going to have up and down should be positive over positive. Anyone that gives me positive over negative or negative over positive is wrong, because this one greater than or equal to 0 means that the value is what? All what? Positive numbers or whole numbers. That's what it means. Whole numbers. Now let me check from this. Let me pick a value. Let's say we pick minus 2. If I put minus 2 here, here will give me minus. If I put minus 2 here, 1 minus minus 2 will give us plus. So this place will give us minus, means that this one will not work. Here will not work. Let me use 0. If I put 0 here, yes, it will work positive. 1 minus 0 is 0. Let me put 0 here, 0. Anything divided by 0 is still 0. So that means it will work. So this 0 will be part of it. Let's take 0, part of it, is because here is positive within. Now, if you take 0.5, let me take 0.5. 0.5. Before I will validate this positive, maybe it's positive. Now, between here and here. Now, let me take 0.5. I take 0.5. 0.5 times 8 is what? 4, which is positive. Then 1 minus 0.5 is what? 0.5, which is positive. So here can work. But if I pick one, let me pick one. Let's do something. If I pick one, this one is valid. This one is valid for 0. Then let's pick one. 1 minus 1 is 0. So it should not work. So let's pick any number here. If I pick 3, 3 times this is what? Is 24, which is positive. 3 times what? 1 minus 3 is what? Negative. So here is negative. It's never going to work here. So the range in this case is what? It's not including 1. Because don't forget, 1, if you put 1 here, it will make everything undefined. So in that case, this is the what? The range of this what? This function. So let's go to the next one. Now, this one says x squared minus 3x will divide by what? X squared is a function. X squared minus x minus 6. Now, what we're going to do now is that we'll find the domain first. The domain. What do we do about finding the domain? The same thing we have been doing for all rational functions we've saw so far. Just say x squared minus x minus 6 must not be equal to 0. Now, what we want to have is that if we factorize this, we want to have x minus 2 and x plus 3 not equal to 0. Let's check. Okay, x minus 3 and x what? Plus 2. What did I do? Just pick one of these x. Pick one of the x here. That means x is s, drop it here. Another one, drop it here. Then what are the two values you can multiply to give you minus 6? Minus 3 and 2. It was minus 6. But if you add them together, they will give you what? Minus 3 plus 2 is what? Minus 1. So you just put minus 3 here or minus 2 here, not equal to 0. That's what I did. So it's not add. So this one now, x is not equal to what? 3. The s is not equal to what? 2. Now what we are saying that if you draw the number line from minus infinity to plus infinity, draw the number line and you get what I'm saying. Now if you draw the number line, this place is what? Let's say 2. Let's call here 3. Now if you do that clearly, what we are going to have now is that it must not include what? It must not include 2 and 3. So if I want to write it now, I'll write it what? Minus infinity to 2 union 2 to 3, not including 2 and 3, union what? 3 to what? Positive infinity. So this will be your what? Your domain for this particular question. Now let's solve the range, which is the last part. But there's something I'm seeing in that question that I want us to see also. Now what do I want you to see there? I want you to see something here. Now, if you put the factor there, let's say f of x equals to what? S squared minus 3s. Put the factor s minus 3 and x plus 2. Now you will see that we can factorize this one out. So we would have x minus what? Into bracket what? First is common. The s minus 3 up divided by x minus 3 down. Then x plus 2 f of x. So that we now what? Eliminate this. Now let's work with this f of x is equal to what? X over what? X plus 2. Now let's what? Work with this now. Now y equal to what? X over X plus 2. Cross multiply. What I would have now? I would have x y plus 2y equal to what? X. So what is common on both sides? We're going to have what? X, y, collect like terms, minus x equal to minus 2y. What is common? X, then y minus 1 equal to what? Minus 2y. So what we're going to have now is to what? And the denominator, we are going to have it as what? S equal to what? Is equal to minus 2y divide by x into bracket. Oh, sorry. 1 minus 1. So that's what I will have now. So we are not going to consider the denominator, only the denominator. Now these are other, we are make what x is only the formula. So I want to say y must what? Minus 1 must not be equal to 0. The way we have been doing for others. Now this one will be y must not be equal to 1. If you take minus 1 to the other side, become 1. Now there's something funny here. We cannot just conclude that what? All real number. That means except 1. There is one particular value I removed from here, which is what? X minus 3. Now if you solve x minus 3 equal to 0, what is x? S equal to 3. Now if you check, now s is not equal to 3 in our domain. It's not equal, that means 3 is exempted from the domain, because I told you your domain and your range must be in accordance. And we've removed the function here, automatically means that what we are solving here is not the original function. So we are going to also check f of 3, which is to know what y will give us this y at x equals to 3. What will be our y in this equation? X over x plus 2. So what we're going to do now in this equation, we're going to put 3. Put 3 here, also 5. So that means that y must not also be equal to what? 3 over 5. Don't forget, x must not be equal to 3. So y must not also be equal to what? 3 over 5, because we remove it here. So that means that therefore it is what? All real numbers except what? Except y not equal to 1 and what? Y not equal to what? 3 over 5. So if you want to write it now, you can write it like this. You can finalize and say what? Minus infinity to what? To 3 over 5 union, then 1 to what? 3 over 5. No, sorry. 3 over 5 is smaller than 1. So 3 over 5, 1 union, then 1 to what? Positive infinity. So you can write your answer like this. It's still correct. Or you just say all real number except what? 1 and this. Then you can, there are several ways by which you can write it. You can even still write it that the range is equal to, you can write it this way and say it depends on how the option will be in the question, or depending on the exam you're writing. So the range can be also the what? What y is such that y is an element of R, but what? Not what? Y is not equal to 1 and so sorry 3 over 5 and y is not equal to 1. This can be your answer also for that question. I believe you enjoyed it. Please ensure you always watch my video, and I believe that by special grace of God you'll be learning something. So for those of you that are returning viewers, please give us a thumb up if you enjoyed the video, and also those that are watching for the first time, please just subscribe. Thank you.